tv.net, a web channel. I would like to talk about the National Royal Council, which has been established under Government of India, Section 8 of the Companies Act 2013, to be the symbol of the unity and peace for all nations and dedicated to ending poverty by improving and empowering the lives of vulnerable populations around the world and spreading the culture of peace, harmony, and tolerance. Our vision is to serve humanity and end violence in building a peaceful world without poverty and to strive for building peaceful local, national, and international communities leading from vulnerable to empowerment. Mission. Our mission is to strive for humanitarian services, baseline social protections through education, awareness, and action in order to build peaceful relationships among people of all cultures and nations. So just now I said about the vision, mission. Under the Royal Council, we have two sister organizations. One is Telangana Kala Parishad, especially concentrates on the cultural exchange. And we have conducted many programs, physical programs. It is not webinars, not on the Zoom platform, but physical programs we have conducted. And we have shown to the nation, to the people, how culture helps to empower. So the cultural exchange has brought many states together and invited all the governments of India, invited Dr. Raja Rao sir, who is the chairman of the Telangana Kala Parishad, and he met President of India. That is a great honor. We would like to express it on the Zoom platform that Government of India and President of India and the different states chief ministers invited Dr. Rajarao Pagdipalli. And he met all the chief ministers, President of India, and expressed the importance of culture and heritage of India. And we have another organization, the sister organization is the Life Foundation, which is headed by me. I'm the chairman of the Life Foundation. I concentrate mainly on the vulnerable population. I moved to the slums of Hyderabad, different parts of slums. I studied their lifestyle and understood that fathers of the families are not even taking care of their children because they are addicted to different bad habits. They were even addicted to substance abuse and they are not even taking care of the family and only the burden laid on women and who are also in pathetic situation because of the financial lackness. Especially during the COVID time, they were in very vulnerable state without any financial excellence. So there were very lot of lackness. When I moved to the slums, I understood that they're starving and they're in very dying conditions. So the Life Foundation supported the slum families, provided rice bags, dal, oil, sugar, even tea powder because they are much addicted to tea. In the morning, they doesn't have tea. They used to act as if there is no, the drug addicted people, how they behave, they also act like that. And male people are addicted to all bad habits, drinking and all. And women are addicted to tea. So we cannot control tea. So we provided even sugar and tea. And the children, they are not even tasting a single chocolate or biscuits. We provided them the chocolates, biscuits, and cake. So during COVID time, continuous slum, and we supported the vulnerable slum people who are below poverty line. They are with great poverty. So these are the physical activities we have done, and the ladies came forward and asked about that they need some employment because of the COVID, they are not finding any employment. Then we have set up tailoring centers there, and we have given each center some 2 or 3 or 4 machines, and now women of those slum people are learning tailoring. And after the 6 months of training, I assured them and promised them that they're going to have certification training, and they can have some bank loan and set up their own tailoring centers or fashion designing and all. So slowly we are making the steps, and I'm getting a number of calls from different slums of Hyderabad and Secunderabad to set up such kind of tailoring centers. And also I noticed that the young boys and girls simply they're roaming on the roads and they're not having proper education. Then I have conducted awareness programs in the slums, and I asked the women of the family, because male are not taking care. When I invited them for meeting, they didn't turn up. So they said, women, leave all, concentrate on us. Then I asked the grandfathers, grandmothers, they all joined us, and mother joined, and I brought them such awareness. Education is very important. Education can bring all-round development. The fathers of the family are illiterate. They are not aware of what is life and how they have to take care of the family. So that I understood. Then as we have set up study centers in the slum. And earlier, when I want to see the students, I used to find 8, 9, 10, some 1 or 2 or 3, not more than that. So totally, I found only 4 boys and girls who have education up to 8th or 7th. And I encouraged, and one girl joined in our engineering college, and she is doing her 3rd year engineering. So now the first girl child got engineering education in the slum. That was a great achievement for them, and they were very happy. And I asked them to join all the students. And so all the boys and girls, we have enrolled them in our study centers. We maintain attendance like school, and we teach them evening 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. They want to go to school, they can go. So we encourage, and we have seen that during this Telangana social welfare admission time, I have taken all the forms. I have seen that it is being filled, and 6 students have joined Telangana social welfare. And now we are motivating students. That's why we have set up 2 study centers. So in this way, we are spreading. That is 1 to 5th class, 1 study center, 6th to 10th class, and another study center. So the people up to 5th class or 4th class, we impart good education, and we see that they will be joined in the social welfare or Navodaya, such kind of residential institutions set up by government. They can have free education up to graduation level. So that is our motto. And also we have seen the people who haven't got admission, 6th class to 10th class, we are making them to study, and we are helping them to move on to intermediate. So now almost 80 students joined the study centers. We are slowly from other slums centers or areas also we are getting called, and we promise that we are setting up. So in this way, we want to spread our Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council. What we said on the Zoom platform, we are going to introduce the same on the physical platform, and we are heading ahead. And we have done successfully, and we help slum children to have good education. I'm sure they are not going to burden the society with their anti-social evil acts. Definitely, they are going to be the responsible citizens. And when I move to the study center, they wish me, ma'am, good morning, good evening. Like that, they want to speak in English only because they see me, my pronunciation on. They want to learn good English. I encourage them. So now and then I go and teach them communication skills and also teach soft skills. So we want to implement employability skills among slum children. That is our motto. So what we say on Zoom platform, that will be implemented physically. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Our highest gratitude to you, ma'am, for sharing your precious words, activities, thoughtful explanation with the crucial information. It is actually necessary, and I always say that God has selected many angels over in this world who is literally doing, apart from for themselves, they are doing something for humanity. So thank you so much, ma'am. On behalf of Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council, I cordially and respectfully welcome our today's chief guest. We are certainly grateful for courteously and gladly accepting our invitation to become the chief guest of this ceremony today. I'm profusely elated to take an opportunity to introduce our distinguished chief guest, Dr. Sanjeev Joshi, IPS, CMD, Kerala State Civil Supplies Corporation and CEO Council for Food Research and Development, Government of Kerala. Sanjeev Kumar Pajoshi Sir obtained his MTech electrical engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1998. He is an IPS officer of the 1991 batch. He obtained his MBA from Syracuse University, USA, and from IIM Bangalore in 2010 May. He received the Pride of India Award of Bangalore for his contribution to the dairy sector. Mr. Pajoshi is presently the Managing Director and Chief Executive of the Kerala State and Transport Corporation, which has an annual turnover rupees 1,500 crores, has 35,000 employees and 6,000 buses. During his tenure as a commissioner and Cozier Day, Mr. Padoshi had helped a victim, a plantation laborer who had over 65% burns and needed medical help to fight against human rights violation. When the government hospital informed him that it had no centralized facility to prevent infections for burn patients, Mr. Pajoshi formed a committee which included the Malayalam movie star Mr. Suresh Gopi and the Janpat Award winning writer Mr. M.T. Vasudevan Nair to float an appeal for donation. Within a week, the victim had a sterilized AC room and appropriate medication. The girl recovered fully in few months and was the help to get a job in her hometown. Mr. Pajoshi has been Joint Director to the Government of India, Minister of Tribal Affairs, New Delhi, the Commissioner of Police at Calicut City, the ADC of Governor of Kerala, the Communication Officer at the United Nations Mission in Kosovo, Europe, where he was also given a United Nations medal. Sir, I would like to tell you that this might be my more than 2,000 webinar, and where I found one of the amazing biography of yours, and I haven't deducted any word from here because it's like, wow. It's the first time when I read it, and after that I was like, this is that, an idol. So we have a lot to learn from you, sir. We all thank you for providing your gracious presence to join us today. Over to you, respected sir.
Very warm evening to all. Really, today is our Muslim festival in certain part of India, Eid ul-Fitr. Warm greetings to all our brothers, sisters for peace and harmony in society. And really, I appreciate and thank you very much, Dr. Radharao, Dr. Madhavi, Dr. Aruna, Dr. Caroline, and all the participants in this seminar. My audio is comfortable? My
Yes,
audio
sir.
is fine?
No, sir.
Yeah. Video switched off to make it audio audible. Yeah. So basically, my video I switched off because audio to be clear. Because earlier there was a complaint, so I'll switch on video after some time. So really warm greetings to all. To repeat again, see at Google search about me, I could understand. A really wonderful research by you about whatever little I do, and perhaps it's all in the service of humanity and humankind. And I really appreciate for this wonderful webinar. We're holding that zero hunger. And I know because from the Millennium Development Goal to Sustainable Development Goal, and now 17 and SDG 2 is basically hunger and many main things of the basically nutrition concept. I'll start with how this hunger came, right from British India, 1865, Great Famine, and there was a big deaths and distribution problem, and British also could not help, and in spite of our whole resources in India, a lot of millions died that time. I think long back, you must have Bengal famine. Later on also a lot of famines have happened, but those type of even other Ethiopia, other countries also famines have occurred, and a lot of people succumb to malnutrition, many other activities, disease out of the less nutrition. And India, of course, now after Green Revolution, is quite surplus in food grain production. Rather, a lot of waste is being done, rather we can say. But luckily, we don't have that food shortage. Food intake is not there, especially in the quantity of various vitamins, minerals, and carbohydrate, and protein, fat. So obviously, there is and children development issues, and even young also get a problem in their health, and old also automatically gets health. So how to solve the zero hunger? I think the food supply chain has to be management has to be there. There is no doubt on that. There is always supply chain has to be perfect, and basically now technology, digital technology. So we are able to move in a very strong way, and obviously mobilize food grains from one place to shortage to surplus, or surplus to shortage, whatever the way we can do. But I really start with that. Basically, zero hunger start with the zero waste. Because once you start wasting, there is no limit. Even India also, there is a post-harvest loss around 30 to 20 to 30% post-harvest loss. Now, secondly, in a go down, a lot of food grains are wasted by infestation and the rodents eating, even the birds eating, and maybe sometime the fungus and moisture loss. So we have to make a zero waste concept. And I also plead and request to all of you, whenever eating, if you don't want food, then don't take, or if you are not able to eat fully, take home and put in fridge and eat. Especially in restaurant. At home we do, but when you are buying from restaurant or outside party, why to be ashamed of that I carry from party? Because if you are not able to eat, pack it. Many people are ready to. In hotels now, mostly packing is being done. Because this culture will, if you start, I know in our European countries, they are very strict on zero waste. Even in restaurant, even you pay from your pocket, they don't allow this to waste. And in India, we are really very notoriously wasting our food during our lunch, dinner, and breakfast. In all meetings, I know because I do carry all the food. If I am not able to eat in the meeting, I carry with me. I do it openly so that everybody can see. This is my principle. Anywhere I don't waste food. And it is not now, right from childhood. When I was in IIT Kanpur, I had made a campaign in maths, student maths, don't waste food. And of course, many people listen to it, but many still don't bother about it. And this is one of the culture we have to get over. And you know, during that war crisis, Lal Bahadur Shastri had pleaded, forego 1 meal in a day so that other poor people. I mean, that situation should not occur. That's what we should not waste. That's one of the first we must really remember in our mind always. And that is all. It is not only food, in electricity also, any resources we should not be wasting that. And food is also a basic resource. Secondly, definitely a distribution symmetry. So we have some surplus area, some deficient area. There are a lot of issues of transportation, and in the transportation loss, you statistically say 2%, 3%. I mentioned about the post-harvest loss also. So it has to be a distribution symmetry has to be done, and the distribution has to be maximum. And that is now possible because the modern technology of transport, railway, even shipping, even road transport also quite efficient now, and roads are very good. That distribution symmetry has to come. And then only things will be in the tower, that differences between the deficient and surplus, so we will remove automatically. And that is possible with technology now, because technology, and we must understand technology, really digital technology. Earlier manual, many other hassles were there, now it's instantly. Thirdly, what happened, any zero hunger, we must encourage the local produce use. I'll give you a small example. Zero hunger means it is not that only everybody should eat one type of food. Various local produce also there. Especially, I'll tell you, the moringa leaves. It is a good source of iron. Those who have pregnant ladies, especially and children, those who are iron content less, especially hemoglobin is problematic. They can have once in a week that leaf and and that's really will improve their iron content. Similarly, local area, that molasses is also good source of iron and other nutrition. That is very good for chin, iron, everything is there. So these are all local produce also we should encourage rather than all fancy food and only outside food. That also I think sometimes it may be costly because of the transportation cost. But local produce is much helpful. I feel that we should also focus on that. Thirdly, I must really recommend that the food nutrition value everybody should be made aware of. People are ignorant. General public are ignorant. That's what they discovered something, especially vegetable, green leaves, and those are, I feel, they are wasting and stunting. I think you understand wasting and stunting. So the children also brain development, many things are it's not visible to common man. And when the nutrition content has to be made aware of that, why they should eat, so that the people will understand. Otherwise, people don't understand and they think only which is tasty to tongue and mouth, they eat. But normally it is always not good for health. Like excess sugar, tasty to mouth is not good for even the children or whatever. But our black gourd is very healthy to human being. Many other things are there. To just giving example. So normally that should be the spirit that we should be aware all these people. And it is not a simple way, not very complicated chemical name. They are very combination. Why the problem happens? Because when you take iron, you must take folic acid. Otherwise, without folic acid, iron doesn't get absorbed. If you take calcium without vitamin D3, the calcium doesn't get absorbed. These are all combination things are there. Even if you eat a lot of things of calcium, but if you don't have vitamin D appropriate by sunlight or whatever, so our mechanism is very different. It is a very combinational type of absorption that are there. Otherwise, it goes waste in your urine, stool, and sweat. So that we should not have. And the normal thing, body has a very optimum, very scientific way of dealing things and absorb. Because artificially you make, then there is a problem. Even the vitamin A to children to prevent night blindness, all those things, excess vitamin A toxicity. Even vitamin D3 excess also by way of artificial powder and those things, that toxicity. Even excess of calcium stone in the kidney. So natural way, and many fruits, vegetables are, even the grains, whatever are there on rotation wise, micronutrients also required. So zero hunger means it is not only hungry, but also how to use the food properly, how to have balance of food, and secondly improve your health, and accordingly improve your learning ability. You know, I remember the zero hunger also, I feel that we should also, for children, especially in rural area, we should have a deworming concept. It happened, learn properly. And some out-of-box thinking, one doctor suggested that why don't you deworm them, the almond oil. Immediately after that happened, the learning ability increased. Then because whatever the food you were taking, let us be in body use them and develop their brain. So otherwise the warm, many outside also normal tendency we must, and the zero hunger also, because what you eat, obviously some worms and in your body taking away, obviously they're hungry again, hungry. These are I'm highlighting with examples because everybody on us to understand that zero hunger, not only concept of the no food, but even with food, there is a concept of malnutrition. And obviously, hungry also will be there to that extent. And I again repeat that zero waste, distribution symmetry, technology, digital technology, local use of promoted one. Secondly, most of the examples of some out-of-box thinking, how to avoid, and some combinational food also. Because just single type of food is not power. There will be a problem of the thyroid problem. That is sometimes excess also something also is dangerous because excess of cauliflower eating also makes some thyroid issue. So these are all various nature has developed, and we should have a seasonal thing, and everything is nature produces accordingly. And obviously fruits, vegetable, again, a lot of fruits, vegetable is locally available. It's not difficult at all. Even people do grow at home. I really want at your seminar, I'll switch on the video now, just to And really, it's wonderful that seminar and this webinar, whatever my thoughts I submitted with you, to propagate to others. And let us hope that all our society improve upon. And I really appreciate your endeavor for Zero Hunger Initiative. And it's a wonderful initiative. And we'll meet again and again. I thank you all and wishing you all the best. Thank you very much.
Eternal gratitude to you, respected sir. Perfectly emphasized all the crucial information and insights, which is
Am I audible?
Absolutely, sir. You are audible. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot for emphasizing all the crucial informations and insights. And absolutely true. We really need to respect food and not to waste food, and which it's a very basic thing, but actually people don't understand wherever we all, if we could say. And it's really, I believe from even myself that that we need to keep a fast, not for a god or something, but absolutely to understand what is called zero hunger, means how we should initiate it. Then only I think every person will be responsible for it and respect food. So it's really necessary at least once in a week everybody should keep fast and understand the value that for food, that what is the value of food. Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us with all the remarkable knowledge and information. We really feeling fortunate to have you with us today. Now, may I humbly invite our next respected chief guest, HRM King Amir A. Haivai, President and Founder of Brilliant Estate. Sir, are you there with us? He is from he's from Brussels, Belgium, member of Joy Miren Group for Africa, FEPJOBA. Sir, you hardly need any introduction. You have made all of us proud, your distinguished work and numerous capacities. Over to you, Honorable Sir.
Hello, do you hear me?
Absolutely, yes, sir. Perfectly audible, sir.
I am happy to be with you and this a very, very good conversation, and we will benefit from all of you and your suggestion and about what you said. So there is many things I wish to say, but others already said that. But I will first introduce myself. I am the ruler of the future humanitarian country, Brilliant State. It is between Egypt and Sudan. It will be a humanitarian first country in the world. So we are now on this base make our constitutions upon the humanitarian. We did many humanitarian actions also in India, in the West Bengal. We make a Beerland clinic for free. Also in Nigeria and in the other many countries, in Nepal also. Also we also disturbed we give the iodine a cure for the COVID. It is all under humanitarian activities for the Beerland. I mentioned about the humanitarian. The humanitarian, it is many things, cover in fields. For example, there is many crises in the world. Some are political, some are religious, some are about the food. So that we can help, we all can help in that thing. For guide the people and make them to understand that to not involve in political issues and the religious issues, and to be one hand. It will help too much for understand each other and to be one hand and serve our communities. Also, there is another thing very, very important that about the agriculture. If we can explain our societies that the importance of agriculture. For example, we notice these days that the many countries suffering from provide to their people the food, the oil, for example, the many things. So why not we explain to the people how they are plant or to depend on their self, not to the export. They can plant and they can such as a spread in their region, the agriculture, starting to agriculture. We must explain to our societies, to our community, the benefit of that. If each country, each society, each region in the world start to plant and depend on their self, on the agriculture, it will be contribute to solve even many things about these things about the agriculture. It is also under the humanitarian activities to make people take to have a good food. What they plant, they can eat. That it is under the humanitarian activity. Also, if we help each other in many things, as I told, to avoid these conflicts about the political issues with the parties involved in that things or in their religions. Why we wish to make communities, our community, to understand that we can do many things if we be a simple persons, a helpful persons. I mean active persons, not to make a problem, not to ease the situation for us and for our friends, our neighbors, everyone we contact. So that I hope now that many people in the world understand about the importance of the humanitarian. Why? Because we was in the period of the COVID, of the viruses. So we must learn how we should pay more attention about even the hospitals. You remember when we need the hospitals, oxygens, etc. So from these negatives things, what we be before in this bad situation, we need to learn lessons from that, from the COVID, from the crisis now about the food, about the pollution, the air, etc. So we wish now to understand our real life and the situation that we need more hospitals, more to take care about the agriculture, to care also about our behavior, to be very friendly, to avoid our that things about the religions, about the politics. You saw the war about the Russia and the Ukraine and how affected in the world. See now, for example, in India start provide some I can say many countries for things instead of Ukraine. So we should realize that we need many things to understand. Also about our policy, about our agriculture, I repeat, about everything. That is my point of review, and thank you very much for all and for listening to me. Thank you.
Am I audible, sir? Yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. You and we are extremely gratified to have you today with all those major information you have given it to us and all the awareness regarding all the right direction, right paths towards the humanitarian activities and which you have done. Thank you for your support. And towards humanitarian activities. Thank you so much, sir. Now I gladly consider it a great honor to welcome our next dignitary, HRM Queen Erin as Trinidad Prime Minister, Berlin State, like Between and Edin Sorinio, was born in Philippines, licensed professional teacher. In 1991, she pioneered the establishment of mission school and currently the school director of that school. Aden ma'am hails from the beautiful and peaceful province of Zambales, Philippines, where the sweetest mango can be found, and this is recorded in the World Guinness Book of Records. She's an international poet, world peace and humanitarian leader, an entrepreneur, and an advocate of peace and humanity. Thank you so much, ma'am. You are true inspiration for all of us. Over to you, respected ma'am. Kindly enlighten us.
A most wonderful evening to all eminent and respected guest speakers and host moderator, and my sincerest congratulations and commendation to the organizers of this World Peace Summit, His Excellency Dr. Rajarao, the Berlin State Secretary to the Prime Minister Office, and Her Excellency Professor Dr. Joseph Elizabeth Caroline Vaikuntham, the Deputy Director 2 of the Berlin State Department of Education. We are very proud that you joined the administration of the Berlin State, the newly emerging country in the African continent. It is an honor to be once again be invited and be part of your program. I don't know where you get that bio of mine. Oh, I think I remember. It is in my website. My name is Eden Soriano Trinidad from the Philippines, and I am the Prime Minister of this newly emerging country, the Berlin State. The first one who speak before me is our founder and the president ruler, King Amir A. Hayawi, who grew up in Croatia, was born in Croatia, and now he is in Belgium. Good evening to you, Your Majesty. The long preparations, communications, many meetings, and interactions Dr. Rajarao and Dr. Professor Caroline conducted for the preparation of this 18 days event are truly remarkable and uploadable. People like you, Excellencies, are what our world needs. Your huge and unquantifiable dedication and love to attain world peace are the characteristics of good world leaders. And hunger, zero hunger, peace, promoting peace is the highest form of character, of being a human, not just a human being. Despite wars, nation-to-nation wars, I don't believe and I don't support that we must take sides or add more salt or pour more fuel to any conflicts, political problems of any nations. Everything was in chaos before creation. But the Creator put everything in order, that the world was peaceful then. Everything was created, were created good at first. Problems started when God created human beings. Mythical to others or not, we humans are the causes of chaos, and we are the same beings who can create peace to this world. Peace and the presence of hunger fuel and creates no peace and the presence of hunger fuel and creates chaotic situations. Hunger is one of the major causes of crime. Chaos in the households, chaos in this community, in our community, chaos in the place of worship, place of work, in every corner of the earth. Man commit crimes because of hunger. If a father or a mother could no longer produce food for their children and family, they will do all kinds of ways and means to feed their children. And in worst cases, they steal. Also, boys and girls are being caught stealing because of hunger and poverty. This is what we really need to focus upon, to aim and hit zero hunger, that no one will be hungry anymore. Organizations and institutions must plan and work together with the government to solve these problems, especially on severe hunger conditions in some countries of the world. Did you know that before, many or all restaurants in the West cook so much food every meal time and just threw them away? Some of my former students who are working now in those countries one time chatted to me about this. Why not give it away? I asked them. The reason was because the management of those restaurants prohibit them to give away because it will create more beggars. And the employees cannot even bring home some leftovers. Also, they said the food might not be already fresh, so just throw it to the garbage cans. And of course, restaurants are for business, not social works, and not a feeding program. But recent years, I think this is no longer being practiced in some food houses and cafeterias. We know when a man's stomach is full, minds are also productive. An empty stomach is also an empty mind or less productive most of the time. We have a movie in the Philippines titled Pagpag, where the scavengers, Pagpag, are portrayed getting their food in the garbage cans. They will just shake it. So they're called Pagpag boys and Pagpag girls, and remove some dirt or wash the meat and then eat it. Heartbreaking to watch this. In my country, the Philippines, our parents always giving lectures and taught us. They, of course, inherited this from our grandparents, who often told them and advised their children whenever they are eating to only get what they could eat at that moment and not to leave a single crumb of food on their plate. And our parents will add, don't waste food, for there are many out there who have no food to eat. Now we have grown up, and still our grandparents still reminding us that every time we eat. One of our nephews, who is also now a grown-up man, and our grandparents are now dead, one time expressed jokingly, if we don't finish all what's on our plate, will those people who are hungry now, right now, will get full? Or will they be able to eat if we throw away some of our leftovers? Will those who have no food now will have food on their table? We laugh, of course, but I actually pondered on those jokes. How? How to attain this zero hunger that the UN Sustainable Development Goals number 2 by 2030. How to attain? Some companies like the General Mills Company gives meals to local food banks. In my country again, they started this community pantry during the prolonged lockdowns caused by the pandemic. Individuals and some organizations put community pantries on the sidewalks, and anyone can pick the goods they need for a day. But sustainability, of course, is not assured. We must be totally committed to promoting awareness of this UN SDG number 2. Plan and work out how to attain this. We must teach every household, every individual to produce their own food, our own food. We cannot always rely on the support and supply from our government. It may not be sustainable. Government should produce and store more food for their citizen, for their people, so that in times of famine and poor harvest seasons, pandemic, we will still, or they will still, can support food for their people. To focus on agriculture, like what our president of Birland said, farming and food production, sustainable farming practices, avoid damaging and wasting natural resources, planting more fruit-bearing trees, vegetables such as the horseradish or the moringa trees, coconut trees. These are the food that can grow for many years and will live for 100 years. Uphold animal welfare, protection of public health, good employment practices, and of course, community support. These are vital to attain zero hunger. Government must hand in hand work with private institutions, companies, educational institutions, and provide benefits so they can be encouraged to really help to attain zero hunger. In our schools in the Philippines, we have backyard vegetable gardens. I love watching on YouTube how the people live in places like Tibet and the remotest places there. And in the Antarctic, I want to know how they grow food, how they produce food. Countries in desert land. And we have this big challenge, how to grow food in Birland State because it is a desert land. Teach and train how to produce food. If you are surrounded by seas and oceans, what are the byproducts of the sea? You know, I am an expert in seaweed farming, and I know what to do with the seaweeds after harvesting. I had been hands-on from planting to harvesting to producing byproducts of seaweeds. I used to be a seaweed farmer, and I love growing seaweed from 100 grams. After 45 days, it grew to 4 to 6 kilos. My goodness. My target on this World Peace Summit is to impart to all, to teach our young people to create their own salvation because they are the future generations. So many technologies now that can produce healthier, huge harvests of vegetables and fruits even without soil, can grow even rocky hills and mountains because they no longer depend on soil and much water. If you heard about aquatic farming, aquaculture, aquaponics, we now have aeroponics, where government and private institutions can invest in this kind of technology. They only need to know what are the products that grow in the desert or in the regions full of ice. There's not ample of time, of course, to discuss all these details. It's just the willingness, the great desire to make the world your own world, to be conducive and a better place to live in, where peace is king and humanity is the queen. Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone.
Wow, ma'am. Peace is a king and humanity is a queen, and that's like when the kingdom occurs, and that's really need to understand by each and every one. salute from India, from every other country, even I could say, because all over the world, I could say Raja Rao sir has really made us together. And that's what we all want to give you a lot of respect and love from our side. The way you have came up with an amazing solutions, and it's really incredibly awesome. If I do believe that if any of them, one should be taken in our life, part of them, so we could change it, we could bring something differently. And as it is, my Mother Teresa always said that if you can't feed 100 people, then feed at least just one, so we can initiate it. And this is how the values starts, because if we are doing like sometimes we just see our mom to do for only one person, but when we grow up, we do it for everybody. So we just don't know when we are going to give the great change to this world. So before giving to my co-host, I would like to invite Caroline ma'am once again for a word of thanks. And great honorable chief guest, you all are the personality of distinct vision and a fountainhead of illuminating ideas, an idol of knowledge and experience and an inspiration to all of us. Accept my endless gratitude. I'm feeling extremely gratified. I truly appreciate always for this opportunity, a remarkable opportunity, my Honorable Raja Rao sir, Caroline ma'am, to selecting me all the time and trusting me. I would like to express my profound gratitude to our dignitaries, my dedicated team and attendees. Over to you, Dr. Caroline ma'am.
Yeah, vote of thanks will be at the end. Just I want to express my gratitude in between I joined. So as I've seen our King, Amir sir, Majesty King Amir sir, and Prime Minister Irin ma'am for joining us. So we are very happy as we are the representative, and as you have recently I'm appointed as the Deputy Director 2 of Education. So I would like to express my gratitude on the Zoom platform. So thank you very much for accepting our invitation and attending, and also for the great inputs, insights, and excellent solutions you have shown us. Yes, if we take up all these methods, definitely we can reduce the hunger, and we can increase the production of the food and support people. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations, ma'am, on your well-deserved success. Absolutely, you are the inspiration to us, and this is an amazing success once again, which is entered. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now it's time to invite my co-host, Dr. Jayashree Kadambi ma'am, spatial educator, marathon runner, cyclist, writer, speaker, and Rotarian. Over to you, respected ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Madhavi. Good evening, good morning, Sat Sri Akal, Khuda Hafiz to all of you, all the wonderful, eminent personalities and who have gathered in this August gathering. Today, I take this pleasure in welcoming you all for this World Peace Summit 2022, the Day 2 Sustainable Development Goal, Zero Hunger. I'm Jayashree, Dr. Jayashree. I'll be your host for the rest of this evening. First of all, I thank Dr. Raja Rao, Caroline ma'am, and Dr. Madhavi for giving me the space and to keep you all, entertained and hearing and listening from all of you, learning from all of you for the rest of this evening. As we all are talking about zero.
Kindly unmute yourself, ma'am. Kindly unmute yourself, ma'am.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Food is the moral right of all who are born into this world. Isn't it true? How beautifully our Prime Minister just quoted. She was talking about, being a farmer herself, seaweed farmer. Similarly, if each one of us can become farmers, keep some small gardens at home, And as Dr. Madhavi just quoted the famous quote of Dr. Mother Teresa, if you cannot feed 100, at least feed one. So charity begins at home. So start with one. It can be your maid, or it can be anybody who's walking on the platform, anybody. So without much ado, I welcome all of you here on this platform, and I would like to listen to all of you and see what solution we can get to this this issue, and whether we'll be able to solve it or come to at least a certain stage by 2030. So our first speaker, I take this privilege to welcome this person. He's from the country of Petronas Towers. Can you all guess which country is it? Yes, my friends, it is Malaysia. So I take this privilege to welcome Dr. Vincente. He's a global peace leader from Malaysia. Dr. Vincente, are you there?
Oh, yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Please, over to you.
All right. A very good evening and happy Eid al-Fitr to all those Muslim representatives of respective countries and all the speakers. Professor Drs. Vijay Caroline, President, Drs. Rajaram, the Chairman of the United World Peace Summit for 2022, Moderator Dr. Madhav, and Dr. Zesri, and all the panel speakers for the day. Allow me to introduce myself. Okay, my name is Vincente of Malaysia. He's the director of the Spice Garden and also the Focus 88 Private Limited, the vice chairman of the Broadcasters of the Health and Welfare. It's the NGO organizations, the vice chairman of the Hokkien Clans Association of Malaysia, and also the committee members of the Tourism and the Buddhism Society. Ladies and gentlemen, coming together is the beginning, staying together is a progress, and working together is a success for the World Peace Summit 2022, effectiveness and efficiency. Why make me say so is that throughout the 18 days of summit, and if we could gather all the strategic touch points from the various brilliant and talented speaker and all the leader, it would be wonderful to cover from the theory to the practicals, and eventually it will become a very powerful to transform it and have an equation to end the hunger in respective nation and same time will achieve the food securities. The beginnings of pandemic during the years of 2020 have turned 1/3 of the countries into 360 degrees, bring various kind of conflicts, economic and climate change over the world populations. The most affected and biggest portions were from the Africa and some of the Oceania. The climate change had badly affected many of the countries' agriculture productions, and likewise, pandemics have hindered the import and export of food supplies activities. Raw materials, logistic, transportations, pricings become the great challenge to individual countries before ended to the end users. An example in Malaysia, okay, during the pandemic times, myself and together with the NGO, we supply the basics kind grocery of foods to all the hardcores, irrespective of the race, religion, or gender. This includes to some of the government departments, whereby we provide all those kind of basic menstrual hierarchy based on their daily needs. On top of that, In our association also, we take into consideration, okay, to provide the masks, to provide the sanitizer, and also sanitizing to the entire of those educational school over the few states. And likewise, the earlier speakers, they was talking about the waste food. In Malaysia, almost per month is about 17,000 waste of food, especially the edible oils. Okay, the foods that's been thrown away from all the restaurants. But what apparently now in Malaysia, what they apply to here is all those are the edible oil. They will recycle it and make it a very productive kind of oil for another use. And likewise for the food, they recycle it, okay, to feed the animals, okay, and the end cycle from the meats, eventually it will feed to the human being. And likewise also, like some of those kinds of the so-called the fruits or even the vegetable, they have recycled it into the enzyme, okay, for the plants. Basically, if they could be able to use this for the enzyme from that particular plant itself, therefore, actually, we should have less dependent on the fertilizer. Further to the subject of the zero hunger, I managed to do a finding, which we find that apparently in the world, the rise of hunger is already coming to about 770 billion of people, which is across, okay, over the years of 2020, and it close to 160 millions that rightly from 2014 to 2020. Usually this happens is under those kind of prevalence under the undernourishment, and mostly very much more affected here is the highest population that affected is over in the Africas and likewise also in some part of the Asias. Further to this, which also see that almost 0.9 of the world populations, or around 697 million of people have severely affected with the food insecure. So further to this, indeed, I have so-called brainstorming. What will be the likeliest kind of problem solutions, okay, to the problems in order to have a sustainable and also to have environment growth that for the world perhaps, okay, they may adopt it. These are the few of the recommendations. We hope that all the world will come together and to implement it based on their capabilities and abilities, as well as so-called the climate and also and the rest of the resources. First thing first will be the required balance of the agriculture land, and also to reserve some of the forest land versus any kind of commercial developments in a ways to balance up the climates. The second thing also here is very much more important, that hope that all those are the rich countries, they can come forward to help the poor countries. At the same time, also to balance up the trade flow as well as the groups of commodities kind of equations. And in order to further sustain and to achieve and to secure for the food for the rest of the world, we hope that respective panel or the government agencies, they could adopt and can bring forward on this, that is the exchange of technologies, not only for plantation, perhaps to develop a new economic dimensions, like crates or use of the local manufacturers' fertilizer or pesticide instead of depending on the import. Citing a very good example in Malaysia, for the agricultural plantations, they are very much more depends from China, India, or some other specific country in order to provide them the fertilizer. If they fail to provide that kind of fertilizer from there, in fact, they cannot able to grow the agriculture plant, and therefore there will be a shortage of food. And the next recommendation will be the proper educations and training program or techniques on agriculture or farming to diversify for the livelihood as well as the entire for the whole world. Last but not least, I hope the 10 minutes the sharing perhaps could contribute and strive for a better living worlds to all mankind in this earth and be free from the suffering and pain. May the peace upon you, to all the honorable moderators and speakers, with God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vincent. I think all of us should take time to applaud each one of our speakers for taking their time and making it here on this forum. And wonderful recommendations by you. I'm sure many of us are going to implement the same very soon. Thank you so much for your time and presence here.
My pleasure. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. Now,
thank you.
I have the privilege of inviting our next speaker. He is Dr. Piya Ratna. He comes from a nation which is the neighboring country of India. And here, if one steps into this country, they would want to buy the singing bowls. The singing bowls are so soothing and melodious to hear. So now I hand over the platform to Dr. Piya Ratna, and I would like to know what wonderful things, melodious things he is going to say. Dr. Piya Ratna, are you here with us? Welcome aboard.
And
great to have
namaste,
you, namaste
and warm greetings. Yes, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes. Sir.
Okay, thank you very much for giving me this the platform, and I'm congratulated for the first day of the World Peace Summit, and this is the second day of the World Peace Summit, and I'm very much grateful and honored to be here, and thank you for Dr. Rajarao for inviting me, even the last minute. So I was very much delighted to be here at this moment, and though I was very much engaged in the presently that I'm running for the candidacy for the mayor of Kathmandu. So I'm having the campaign, it's going on, and 13 of the May is the day of election for electing the mayor, and that is the update from Kathmandu, Nepal, for all of our dignitaries, eminence, and the Prime Minister, and also the honorable and the eminent speaker from around the world. And good evening from Nepal is as our doctor has been introduced to me as a country from Singing Bowl. Yes, the Singing Bowl is very much very famous. It has been all the elements of the iron has been produced that can be produced a marvelous the song, and that which can be used for many purpose, multiple purpose, like singing. Also, you can use as a bowl for the eating, and also you can use to drink water, and also use for musical instruments. So this is one of the that important aspect of this our life, and also greetings from the Mount Everest, and also birthplace of the Buddha and the birthplace of the Sita. Today's topic, that is zero hunger, is a sustainable development goal of the UN, is that comes first number 2, and is very much imperative that without food, no one can live. So that's as even the Buddha says that if you are hungry, if you preach a hungry man, no one will listen. So if anyone of here is hungry, I think no one will listen to my speech. Okay, so what I think from this platform, but we have to collectively collect the suggestion and recommendation. I have heard the predecessor speakers, very wonderful suggestion, and that we should be collectively work through and to start a campaign of worldwide, starting from this platform, that World Summit. And it was wonderful that bringing the eminent speakers and honorables from around the world, and it's also especially from the Asia, and which that we have collectively suggest and also work forward in the near future, and also to getting the goal of to reaching by 2030, that if we can collectively work together, hope that we can achieve by 2023. But one of the challenges that we are having is the pandemic, COVID-19, which has changed the world entirely. So that with this new scenario of unprecedented and uncertainty of the world, and due to the pandemic, there has been a lot of challenges and the problems that came, and starvations, and because people cannot come out and work, and people who are with the daily wages and have a lot of issues and problem of having foods. So my experience in during this campaign of the distribution of the foods during the pandemic was that I have been working through one of the world's largest relief organization that is based in Taiwan and has been spreading all over the world. And through this organization, myself is coordinating as the coordinator for Nepal. And during this pandemic, we have been distributing more than 230,000 families, all the rations and food, and also the dry food to the hungry people who are locked down, locked down in the city, which they cannot go back to their homes, and that's a strategic and the situation that we see. And since I'm staying in Kathmandu, though it's a capital, but we have a lot of the people coming from other cities that and all the daily wages, and those they are the medium families, income families become the mostly the vulnerable for having that, and there are a lot of issues of starvation that came, and I was able to coordinate with all our organization through coordinating this and distributing to the people in the street who are in hungry, begging for the food. And we cook food despite the dangers of COVID-19, that the precautions, and with the approval from the Minister of Health of Nepal, government of Nepal, that we mobilize a lot of organization cooking food and fresh food that we gave, very hot meal that we gave to the people who are suffering and who are locked down, and which was a very terrible situation that we never faced in this world. So that was my experience, that seeing that people in starving and in the street, I cannot see myself, and so we have to find out the solution for that. And during that, while we are just distributing the foods to the hungry people from around throughout Nepal, and meanwhile our suggestion for that in Nepal, where the most of the houses was built with a roof. So therefore, we had started a campaign because during the lockdown, nobody can come out. So the families get together. We had the campaign of Rooftop farm, whereby we had growing the vegetables, full vegetables mostly, and that it was very much successful. And most of the people don't have work to do during the lockdown, and the families to spend the time, and they use that rooftop to grow the vegetables. And that is the one of the creative that idea we produced, and it was very successful. And due to that, we had produced a lot of vegetables and some beans, and so therefore it has some kind of impact on the producing some vegetables for solve the issues of problem. So that is the one of the idea that came out, and throughout our other INGOs, and we work together to come out with this idea. And at the same time, with all the women groups and community developments projects that we encourage the people for their own income generating works. In Nepal is a very fruitful, fertile lands which we can grow the multiple of cultivation, harvest during the 1 year. So during any season, we can grow the vegetable, rice, wheat, and all kind of the products that we can have in the paddy field. So during the pandemic, even government, ourselves, we taking the measure of wearing masks and sanitization. The farmers were allowed to work even during the pandemic, because the food is one of the major necessity requirement that should be produced. So therefore, the farmers, they go to the farms and produce their harvest, the cultivate, and they harvest the rice and food. The vegetables. So that during the pandemic, though it is lockdown and have severe issues, so Nepal, no one has died due to the lack of the food. So this is one of the efforts that we took, and collectively all the people understood, and therefore until from the lockdown, and even we had the earthquake from that part of the time until now. We just want to inform all of our dignitaries that Nepal did not suffer from hunger. And one of our another campaign is to save the food. But rather than save the food, my suggestion, and we suggested, was that cook the food moderately. It's not overcooked. So the size of the families, members, and also when you invite for the parties, because we say that you waste the food is also kind of crime. It's a pap, and so therefore people feel guilty of throwing. So even when you eat, you should take a little bit of food. Even you can come back and take again, and do not waste food. So this is the way that we save the food and allow the other people who are hungry and to distribute equally among at least for Nepalese people. So it's kind of an example through starting from your own and telling your neighbor and your neighbor friends, families, and relatives, and that goes to the entire nation. So therefore, Nepal is though we import, of course, the food from our neighboring countries, still we can manage the food's excess that how to handle the excess food, and the Nepal government also had some idea to have the storage of the food in case there's kind of any natural calamities or any kind of the starvation for the future. So the suggestion that I had took, and also what I have learned from the earlier speakers, that we can implement these ideas, very wonderful ideas, and hope that we work together and keep in touch. And thank you very much for again giving this great platform to speak some of my idea in this World Peace Summit. Or I express and pray for the world peace among all, and also we have to pray for we cannot forget the war that going on in the Ukraine. So all of us, let's pray for the peace, that soon there should be world peace. Thank you very much. And namaste.
Thank you, Dr. Piya Ratna. I hope we will meet in person in Nepal on 15 May this month in Kathmandu.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Piya.
Thank you so much, Dr. Piya. It was such a pleasure and delight listening to you today. A big round of applause to you. And we wish you very good luck for your campaign and for you to win the mayor post and serve the society in a great manner. Now, I have the pleasure of welcoming Professor Mario C. Lucero. He comes from a place of wonder, mystical land of wonders, where when one steps into this nation, they want to visit the chocolate hills. Yes, my dear friends, let's welcome Professor Mario from Philippines. Over to you, Professor Mario.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for that generous introduction. I'd like to thank the organizers for having me in this particular platform, and of course, the invitation of great people, okay, which I could not say no, okay, to Dr. Raja Rao for his invitation, and to the great people, of course, across the globe. I also have here my co-Filipino, okay, Professor Dr. Queen Eden, and I really love her speech a while ago. I was really amazed by the contents of her speech, and yeah, together we experience a kind of, let's say, a country that is not so rich and not so poor, and yet we are still striving to become the best country of the world. So to end hunger is a problem, not only by the educators like us, but it's also the problem of the government. It's the problem of the universe. We are very thankful that there are countries who are very rich, but I would also think, and it's really sad to say, that there are countries who suffer. It is because of probably geographical location. Another issue would be political will. Another would be the victims of war, and issues on natural resources. In the Philippines, we're so blessed with natural resources, and that we could survive whether we are on the agricultural land or even on the seashore. But to end hunger is really what? It's a dream for us to achieve. Okay. I could always share some of my experiences as a young boy living in a rural area wherein we value the food that we eat. Yes, it's really true that we only take what we consume, probably what is being served on the table. We could hardly have two viands on the table, but with the rice that's on the table, we enjoy the food. with a very simple breakfast, lunch, or dinner. A very simple like that. But again, we have issues of poverty. Okay, and poverty would be caused by a lot of problems, okay? A lot of issues. It could be something that it's the lack of political will to enact some law to support these people. It could be irresponsible thoughts or actions of adults, or it could be something that we are dependent to other people. So who will solve this? We, the people, we, the concerned leaders. We're very thankful to have this kind of platform for us to share, for us to collaborate, probably with rich countries to support us. But you know, we would always want to become dependent also, not independent with other countries. So despite the difficulties that we have right now in our country, we are surviving. We are trying to probably understand, okay, the situations that we have. So I know that the goals of SDG2 would really highlight that by 2030, end hunger and sewer access by all people, in particular the poor and people in the vulnerable situations, including infants, to safe, nutritious, and sufficient food all year round. So it is the responsibility of each leader in the country, the cooperation of the United Nations, to really look into vulnerable situations, not only the poor, but also the infants, okay, to look into sufficient food all year round. Another is that by achieving by 2025 the international grid targets on stunting and wasting in children under 5 years of age, and address the nutritional needs of adolescent girls, pregnant and lactating women, and older persons. It is really very true that when one is hungry, the mind cannot function. So the stomach is connected with the brain. And when you are hungry, when you cannot feed your stomach, there are bad or evil things that come into your mind. Also remember that the goal in 2030, there must be a doable agricultural productivity and incomes of small-scale food producers, in particular for women, indigenous people, family farmers, pastoralists, and fishers, including those secure and equal access to land, other productive resources and inputs, knowledge, financial services, markets, and opportunities for value addition and non-farm employment. Yeah, so we're very thankful that even we are poor in our country, we are surrounded by our rich natural resources. Just look around, okay? We can already plant, well, of course, vegetables, which are sufficient to nourish of course, our stomach, okay? So which means to say that we have backyards to raise, well, a lot of, let's say, domesticated animals for us to consume, and probably plant vegetables for us also to consume. And that we also have to remember, okay, that by 2030, it was a goal to ensure sustainable food production systems and implement resilient agricultural practices that increase productivity and production, that help maintain ecosystem, to strengthen capacity for adaptation to climate change, extreme weather, drought, flooding, and other disasters, and that progressively improve land soil quality. Another issue is that, of course, we must maintain the genetic diversity of seeds, okay, that we have to to plant or maybe use in cultivating plants, farm, and domesticated animals. Yeah, of course, in our country, we have already variations of rice seeds that can be planted and that can be consumed. But the presence of toxic sometimes, the presence of fertilizers would also affect, okay, and would cause also problems to the consumers. But anyway, okay, what is important is that the government should look into assisting farmers to have more productions, okay, not only from the plants that they produce, but also to some domesticated animals that can be consumed. Okay. And we need to have increased investment, including through enhanced international cooperation, especially in rural infrastructure, agricultural research and extension services, technology development, and plant and livestock gene banks in order to enhance agricultural productive capacity in developing countries, in particular less developed countries. Yes, so we have to invest in research so that from the products and findings of this research would be able to improve the quality of life that we have and will be able to produce more products that can be consumed by people. Another also is to correct and prevent trade restrictions and distortions in world agricultural markets, including through the parallel elimination of all forms of agricultural export subsidies and all export measures with equivalent effect in accordance with the mandate of the Doha Development Round. And finally, we need to adopt measures to ensure the proper functioning of food commodity markets and their derivatives and facilitate timely access to market information, including on food reserves, in order to help limit extreme food volatility. Well, the problem right now here is that, of course, we have problems with crude oil. And when the cost of oil increases, also our products will also have a very high costs. So we depend on the kind of market that we have not only in our country but also across the globe. So there must be a close collaboration among countries to help each one. That's why United Nations is very important for us to really help one another to end hunger. It might not be now, but in the future. So I'd like to thank the organizers for establishing this particular intellectual exchange of experts, of great leaders, in order for us to show solutions to our problems. It might not be an immediate solution to stop hunger, but at least we have solutions that can be sustained in the future. So with that, thank you so much. And I'd like to say good evening to each and everyone. It's already almost 12 midnight in the Philippines. And but thank you for inviting me to this platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Mario. Despite your late night timing, you're here with us. That is a pleasure and a privilege for us to have you on the dais today. And yes, what a wonderful recommendation. As the tagline goes, waste not, want not. So when there is no wastage, the wants are also less. So I'm sure all of your presence here and the collaborations that have happened here on this platform today will lead to more such awareness, and not only awareness, but also, in-person meetings where we are going to try to bring in more solutions and help the farmers and agriculture who are, having a tough time to take forward their agricultural, background. And we can also definitely build a strong community to reduce hunger. Thank you so much again, Dr. Mario, for being with us tonight. Now, I have the pleasure of welcoming our next speaker. She is Ms. Meeta Mahapatra from our very own India. Ms. Meeta Mahapatra, are you here with us? Over to you.
Am I audible?
Yes. Good evening.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Greetings to all of you. I, Meeta Mahapatra, express my gratitude for giving me an opportunity to speak a few words on this zero hunger. So, ending hunger is one of the greatest challenge of our time. Across the world, up to 811 million people do not have enough food. Hunger is a big problem and it is a major cause of the crime. According to recent estimates, 44 million people in 38 countries are at the risk of sliding into famine, the most extreme form of hunger, which can result in death from starvation or many kind of disease. The consequence of diets poor in vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients are affecting the health and the life prospects of millions. Although enough food is produced to feed everyone on this planet, the goal of a world with zero hunger, as set out in the 2030 agenda for sustainable development, remains hugely challenging due to a toxic cocktail of conflict, climate change, disasters, and structural poverty and inequality. You know, over the past 2 years, the socio-economic consequence of the COVID-19 pandemic have further increased the situation by pushing millions of vulnerable people into greater food insecurity. There must be sustainable solutions to end hunger in all its forms by 2030 and to achieve food security. The aim is to ensure that everyone, everywhere, has enough good quality food to lead a healthy living life. Achieving this goal will require better access to food and the widespread promotion of sustainable agriculture and so many. This entails improving the productivity and incomes of small-scale farmers by promoting equal access to land, technology, and the markets, sustainable food production systems, and resilient agricultural practice. It also requires increased investments through international cooperation to increase the productive capacity of agriculture in developing countries. Thanks a lot for inviting me and giving a chance to pick some awards on this zero hunger. Thanks a lot to everyone. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, Ms. Meeta. I think that was very short and sweet. A big round of applause to you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Now, I take the pleasure in inviting our next speaker, the last speaker of this evening, Dr. P.K. Rajput. He also hails from India. Over to you, Dr. Rajput. Dr. Rajput, are you here? Okay. So, yeah, sure, definitely. So before we go to the next part of this evening, I would like to take this privilege and request all the audience here to just unmute for just a few seconds and give a big round of applause to all our speakers of this evening. Can you all unmute yourselves? If you'd like to hear this applause, please unmute each one of you, because I think this, when we clap, when we applaud each other, that is one of the way in which we are motivating each other, encouraging each other, inculcating the positive attitude among each other. So thank you one and all for each one of you for being present this evening, despite your time differences, time zones. And thank you, Dr. Raja Rao and Dr. Caroline ma'am, for this organizing this wonderful event and giving many of us a chance to present ourselves. And great collaboration is happening across the globe. So now I request all of you to mute again. Thank you so much. I request all of you to mute again. Thank you. Now we come to the next part of the session. The floor is open to all of you. But before the panel discussion begins, I request that one speaker speak at a time so that it's audible to all of you. Yeah. Try to share your thoughts, your views on tonight's presentations and your view about today's goal, that is zero hunger, how we can prevent and how we can help the world in attaining the goal by 2030. So I open the floor to all of you, but one at a time, keep yourself muted. When the other speakers are speaking, let's give the chance to listen. Just 1 minute so that all of us get a chance to speak. Thank you so much. Now, I think I hand over the speaking session to Dr. Arnav Vadkar. Begin with your speech, Dr. Arnav Vadkar. And then let the dais open to others.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Jayashree. It's a pleasure. And it was from 7:30 till now. It was amazing listening to all the eminent speakers here from our national and international level. And yes, each speaker, I mean, the delegates were amazing. And Dr. Sanjeev, the President Amir Hayavi, Dr. Queen Eden. So all of them were amazing. And we took, there was a lot of takeaway from these. And yes, hunger and no waste, no hunger. So stop wasting, and then yes, we would be able to eradicate. But how sensitive are we to each and every aspect of this? Because it is so sensitive. We all go to hotels, we all go to restaurants, we eat so much food and all. But how far have we observed that front of the restaurant, there are people who are just staring, looking at you, and they are like, oh my goodness, I wish I could get that food, at least a bit of it. Just sharing practical the incident what we had, and we were having a Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry meeting, and it so happened that we were just opposite to the road, and we had a table there. And it was like we all were having ordered meeting come lunch sort of thing. But then we saw that 2-3, I observed that there were 2-3 people outside the restaurant, they were like, I wish somebody could give us some food. And they were not that their hands and legs were in proper shape. They were one or the other way, not that efficient that they could really work that much and have it. So it was, I was like, everybody was like, what happened? I said, no, just wait. So I just went in, instead of giving money, what happens is that leads them to something different track. They might misuse the money, but what if we go and pack a small pack of food and give it to them, and that makes you happy. And then I came back and we have had the lunch. So how does this, being so sensitive, if we each one of us are sensitive to these aspects, the little aspects, and then make sure that, even in the hotel, we pay money. So we just put all our food so much that, okay, we have paid money, let us put all the food in our plates. But yes, you have paid money, but how much are you able to eat? So very well said by the Prime Minister, Professor Dr. Queen Eden, that, how do we save food and how we find out different various projects to make sure that the food is saved. How do we teach our young generation? How do we teach our school students in what way they can save? So yes, let us be sensitive towards this and our SDG goals one day by day. As we are listening to all, maybe we can go ahead and find out solutions to see how each one can get the projects in hand to make the future generation ready to save the food and the environment. Thank you so much.
Very well said, Dr. Aruna Wadkar. Superb. Yes, we have to prepare the future generation so that we can attain the sustainable goals. Now, I request other speakers to please open up and share your thoughts. Dr. Taru, Veera, and also I request all of you to turn on your videos so that we can see all your beautiful faces, because we have to add our names to the face. So I request all of you to turn on your videos, all the participants. So please, I request other speakers to come forward and one by one share your thoughts. Dr. Taru, Veera. Srinivas Emsani.
Yes, ma'am. A brief exhibition should be arranged. Yes, sir. So, a brief exhibition should be arranged in the form of images, as said, Aruna ma'am said, individual houses also, sir. Because of the region, this is the most important. At the same time, controlling food wastage and throwing into drainages, if possible, penalty should be implemented for wastage of food. And surplus food purpose, arranging one toll-free number, if possible, statewide or district-wise any. At the same time, sir, people can have food. Basic facility should be provided. Beggars and homeless people like need for food, hot of all, etc. At the same time, increase our some cold storage and go down, sir. This is the most important. At the same time, don't waste order in hotels and functions at a time. Because of the reason, most of the people are prestigious purpose order, creating many type of orders at the same time, sir. At the same time, please include our education system according to what is the importance of food, what is the benefits of food, don't waste of food. At the same time, implementation of our education system, sir. Say for example, 3-4 hours after waiting after eating food, he earns some knowledge also. What is the importance of food? Okay, so food for all, everyone birthright to eat food, good food, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving this opportunity to me, sir.
Thank you so much, Srinivas Emsani, for this wonderful sharing. I request Tarun Tiwari, sir, to please share some thoughts.
So much, Jayashree Madam, and good evening from India to all dignitaries, all respected speakers from all around the world, great leaders. My name is Tarun Tiwari, and I'm an entrepreneur from rural India. Education done with Bachelor of Engineering occupation started as a young entrepreneur after years of ground level experience and professional experience lead to various businesses and establishment. Still, my interest is in social cause. So continuing CSR activity through JAHO Foundation and many associated NGOs in India and abroad also. First of all, I want to congratulate Vishwa Humanity United International Royal Council for this great initiative. And I'm so fortunate that I got opportunity to speak in front of you great leaders. I just want to speak few facts about today's goal, as we are discussing today about zero hunger as DG2. I just want to tell that very cruel fact about this. 25,000 people die per day, including 10,000 children due to this hunger. And we can divide in minutes, 11 people each minute die because of this. This Zero Hunger Challenge launched by UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon in 2012. You know, friends, leaders, more than 45% of farmers in developing countries are women. If these women had equal access to the same resources as men, they could feed up to 150 million more people. So we have to think about this to provide same resources to those farmer women also. As you know, 30% of world population, nearly 30% is malnourished. Hunger is not an issue of charity, it's an issue of justice. So this last point I want to tell that in 2014, the statistics taken shows that the year produced food for 18 billion. That year, food produced 18 billion, and we were only 6.8 billion in 2014. So the problem is not with agriculture, or it's not a failure of agriculture. It's because of failure of human hearts. If love find action, it could be done, and we can achieve zero hunger. Thank you so much.
Hello. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, thank you very much. Greetings to all. This is Dr. Rasangan from India. Very good evening to all of you, and thank you very much for providing me this wonderful platform to share my views over ending zero hunger. And within few minutes, I will share my views, and I will not take too much time. My first point is that we have to empower the woman, as there is a direct correlation between the hunger and the gender inequality. Empowering women to gain access to the food we provide and lead their families has had a major impact on the food access and ability to change the financial status of the family as well, so that they can earn the bread for the family as well. And no doubt there is a great role of education as well. With the help of education, we can end this hunger. This is a worldwide problem, and education is the best weapon against the poverty and the hunger. It is a powerful, especially in the underdeveloped countries, and the education means better opportunity and more access to the income, and obviously there will be availability of the food. They have the money, and so they can buy the food. And some countries have food for the education programs as well, where the students are given free food for coming into the school. One such program is running in India as well, in Haryana, particularly in the Punjab, in Delhi as well. There's a midday meal program is there up to 8th class, up to middle standard. Students are getting food in school time in the government schools, and this is also somewhere ending the malnutrition, and the diet is provided according to the age of the students, and there is a different diet plan for the every day in the midday meal program. And no doubt, as we have the we are donating our discarded articles and books. In the same way, we can we can generate the food banks also. We can donate the food items to the needy person. We can we can collect the food from the neighbors, from our relatives, and from the rich peoples also, and we can distribute it to the needy person. This is one of option from my side, and no doubt we have to shift towards the biofortification. We have to develop such varieties of the fruits or the vegetables that are highly nutritive. We have to shift to the alternate source, as we are depending on the agriculture totally, and agriculture is not producing so much cereal, and the production is very less due to this climatic condition. Natural calamities are there. There's a disaster, food and flood, and there's a drought in many parts of the country, and the entire crop is spoiled by this. And no doubt we have to follow the eat ethicals, and that is the eat food not too much, and we don't have to waste the food. We have to teach our students in the schools. As I am from the education system, I'm an educationist, I'm a principal, so this is the best. We can start from our schools. We can inculcate the great food habits in our students, and so that future generation can save the food. Thank you very much. The time is very less. Thank you very much for providing this wonderful platform. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Raj Sangwan. It was wonderful hearing from you. Yes, definitely we should start educating our students, but charity begins at home. We have to always remember that we have to educate our children at home, and even donate, even if you're not that hungry, learn to donate that extra food to someone who needs it. So now I think we have Dr. Taru Veera. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, madam. Thank you for the opportunity, and I thank every member of the Royal Council for organizing this World Peace Summit 2022. Nothing more to tell. All speakers and eminent personalities told everything. I want to add only 10 points. 10 ways to world hunger solutions. One is urban farming, women role in farming, and education, and control of birth rate. Means population is increasing like anything. That also one of the problem for hunger, and that's all. Thank you.
You said 10 points.
10 points, but I thought time is precious, and so many other speakers are also.
Definitely. Yeah, it's so valuable, but whatever you said, we have to educate the women. We have to empower all of us, or each one of us, to sustain this particular goal. Thank you so much for your sharing, Dr. Veera. Can we have the next speaker, Dr. Kriti Kumar Bhatt? Are you there?
Yeah. Very good evening. Very well said by all the speakers. And as I have studied the reports, it says that nature can produce the food for whatever the existing population on the earth. They can be fed for 6 times. So probably food is not a problem. Food management is a problem. What Aruna madam has rightly pointed certain things, and those food problem has to be managed very properly. And in Gujarat, a few of the villages are there which has tried to address this issue in a way. They were believing in a common kitchens. So there was a common kitchen for whole village. So everyone has to take food in that kitchen only. And there are menus very nicely designed by the village people, right from morning to evening, morning breakfast and then lunch and dinner and tea and breakfast. Other additional things they can take at their home, but lunch, dinner, and breakfast has to be consumed at the common kitchen. So that way, that experiment has worked very nicely. But finally, Indians are Indian cities. I mean, it is very tough to bring the people on a common platform. So since last 2 years, that experiment has been stopped, maybe because of Corona and all that. But common kitchens and food management, I am sure that will definitely solve the problem of the hunger. And that is all from my side. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kriti. It's wonderfully said, short and sweet. Yes, there are so many things that we have to achieve. All the eminent speakers have been telling, but we all have to get in action. We have to go on the field, I think, and then work. Only then things are possible. Small things like, donating things around. So many of you have told beautifully, donating food around your area, that itself is going on the field work. Then slowly you can spread yourself and then go ahead. So can we have the next speaker? Yes. Actually, wonderfully told Dr. Raja Rao. As you said, quality is more important than quantity. That's what you have proved. Many of them will be saying, oh, I have 100 viewers, 1,000 viewers. I think that is not important. Quality versus quantity. Quality is more important.
Yes, okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Raja. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you. A very good evening to everyone tonight. Yeah.
And let me make a simple conclusion about the zero hungry. I have two things to say. The first thing, it is about a free area. If you have a soil or a free area in your apartment, in your balcony, you can plant anything that you can use that when growing, when products anything. So you can plant things. That is the first thing. The second thing, it is very important. Any community, any region, any society, people can make something. It is called a house of food or box of food. Gather these foods in the one place and they give to people who are seeking for food or hunger. That is the two emergency solutions for everyone. The free area that you can plant in anywhere, even in your apartment. And the second solution, it is to make a food box or a house of food. That is in my point of view. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Your Excellencies. Yeah, I'd like to share with you, Dr. Raja, what Excellencies Amir have mentioned about the same things that are happening in Malaysia, okay, when we do have an open piece of land, okay, which actually is not being occupied. And therefore, you know what happened? We do request from the government, okay, and we encourage the local community to also comes together to plant their vegetables, okay, and they're allowed to share to the local community, which they are not required to pay for a single cent. Because recently in Malaysia, because of the climate change, okay, whereby all the vegetable price has been shoot up almost 150%. Okay, with that kind of community environments, sustainable developments of these agriculture plants, in fact, we make the whole communities, okay, one way or another, right from the young until to the senior citizen, they come forward and they plant their so-called the vegetables. These are things that is happening over in Malaysia and wish to share to the rest of the world. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, it was just that, I just wanted to tell everyone that, we all are keen to join all the groups, but all groups, are we like, how productive they are, how meaningfully it is being led. That is what it attracts a person to be into that group. So that's how I am here in this group, because whatever is organized or said by Dr. Rajarao or Professor Dr. Caroline, it's not only the words, but they bring it into action. And that's what I believe more into the practical life as well, which can definitely change the future generation, being an educationist or an academician or an edupreneur. So that's what I'm looking out for. So glad to be a part of it. And I would encourage everyone to be a part of it and to bring it up to the highest level. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much today for this opportunity. And thank you so much for allowing me to host the program today. It was a pleasure meeting all of you, and looking forward to the rest of the 16 days with great pleasure. Thank you so much.
Recording